the Diva show. We are right here on TV3. It's live from Studio B. Yes, and yesterday the Black Stars made us all proud. We were all expecting a massive win against Zambia, and boy, didn't they just do it. I was so excited, I just couldn't hide it any longer. Well, the show is brought to you by Nokia. It's the Nokia Lumia 520 or 520, no matter what you want to call it. Get it in exciting colors. I love my red. You've got to get this. The interface is just beautiful. I enjoy using this phone. It keeps you connected all the time, and guess what? The battery lasts longer than any other phone you would find on the market. Of course, if you've used Nokia before, you would attest to this. You're welcome to the show. I am Nanauba, and my guest this morning, three very interesting people. Well, I'll see how interesting they will be, but I'm assuming that they're interesting considering the number of hits I'm getting on Twitter and Facebook about the appearance on the show. I'll start off with Kofi Asamoah. Kofi is a director. I've seen a bit of your work. I think you do a great job, especially with Boys Casa. I love Boys Casa. I love it. You tell us how you came up with that idea. I think it's a brilliant idea. It's very nice to see, young people come up with different ideas. They don't just sit at home and wait for white-collar jobs. You've done excitingly well. Proud of you. Next is Kukwa Gazy. She's got a very long name. I don't even want to attempt, but maybe I can try. Sharon Kukwa. Okay, you're fancy. Yes, good to see you. Sharon is also a pharmacist, right? And you just completed KNUST. Okay. So you're looking forward to your national service?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Where were you posted to?
Pharmacy Council. So,
yeah. In Accra?
Yeah, in Accra.
So you're excited? You were not thrown out somewhere?
Yeah, sure. I'm excited.
Anyway, but I think national service is such a beautiful thing, especially when you have to go to the hinterlands. It's nice to, live a certain life. No, it forms part of your story.
It's beautiful when you're posted somewhere in Accra or Kumasi.
Really?
Yeah.
Trust me, it's not fun when you have to be in Boko or somewhere in Nampala.
I think it's exciting if you're there.
We're talking about transportation. The incentives are not really good, and then we're talking about, I think it's less than 300. So, and I'm a girl. I know I have to buy some few things and all that. So that money won't really be enough for me and all that. So going far away from home would be a bit of a problem. So
I have friends who are posted to some mochi. Yeah, it's true. So. Trust me, it's not always fun.
It's not?
It's not always fun.
And this feedback has been there for years. It's not changed.
Well, I don't think it will change, actually. It's something we all have to deal with. You've got to look at it from a very different view. I mean, if you're posted to some village in Boko, just use it as an opportunity to start something in Boko. Because, for instance, you go to a very rural place, they don't even have potable water. How about coming together with friends, put up a borehole there, do something for them, and then it forms part of your CV. It's exciting when you have that on your CV. So don't just think about the negatives, but make some positive out of it.
It's a good idea, coming together with friends, borehole, but it's all money. And when you go to people for money,
you can go to Ato.
If it's not beauty pageant, I mean, it's difficult to make money from such things.
Anyway, Auntie, good to see you as well. You're putting together the National Volunteers Day, is it?
Yeah, so it's really nice that you just mentioned what you mentioned, and you put it, I think you put it in a nice way whereby it's something that you can put on your CV, right? I think a lot of the times, people go to look for jobs and they don't really have anything to show. And if someone had gone to do national service in Boko and they were able to get together friends to do a borehole, that is something clearly that you can show on the CV that a lot of people are not even thinking about. And I think volunteering is one way that we don't talk about a lot. That is actually a real way to get a job.
That's true.
So, yeah,
absolutely true. Anyway, let's start off with the Ghana-Zambia game, because that game, I mean, it brought out another side of me that people actually didn't know. Let's start with you. You watched the game.
I watched a bit of the game. I watched from about the 59th minutes to the end.
Okay.
So
and when you tuned in up to the time the whistle went off for the end of the game, who would you say impressed you most?
For me, I always say the day I used the embodiment of Vim. So I just love to see him play. I love his tenacity. I love, just the way he approaches the game. So it was really nice to see ACN as well. I think ACN had a good game, and I was also excited that Warriors scored because I feel like we need someone who would make Asamoah Gyan look over his shoulder a bit. So if you have other strikers who are succeeding, that pushes Asamoah Gyan to even do better. So I'll probably just single out ACN and DDIU.
Okay. Kukwa.
Well, for me, I wanted Kevin Prince Boateng to be on the field.
You are Kevin's groupie. Officially, let me just announce. She was so sad that Kevin Prince Boateng was not playing.
Yeah, exactly. So, but then I think I'll also go for DDIU. Yeah, I am after Kevin Prince Boateng. I think I'll go for DDIU. And I think
I like fine guys, don't you?
Yeah.
Every woman does.
Every woman does, really? I like that.
Okay.
Yeah, fine guy.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. But I like DDIU or Kevin Prince Boateng. Yeah, sure. So I really enjoyed the game actually, and I think the Black Stars did very well. Yeah, and I wasn't really too comfortable with our goalkeeper because he was a bit shaky and all that. So the Zambians were actually playing, and so it would have affected us in a way.
The Zambians kept pushing. They just went on and on.
I think in the second half of the game, they actually played better than we did. Because in fact, I got pissed off at the second half because Ghana has this thing when they score in the first half, then they get relaxed, and the Zambians were just pushing and they were playing real fast game.
Do you understand that at some point the other team is actually going to play football?
Say again?
That at some point the other team is actually going to play football. So I think sometimes we get surprised if the other team is actually trying to score.
You expect that when there's a first goal, the performance should be better. But this time in Ghana, when there's a first goal, the performance actually drops. And
we become complacent.
Yeah, and there was one guy who, for me, is it Opare or something?
Yeah, Daniel.
That guy, yesterday wasn't his day. For me, he was messing up everywhere. He was just not on point. And the best man for the match for me was Kwadwo Asamoah.
That goal. We'll come to that. We will definitely talk about that goal. Yeah. Let's talk about Kwesi Appiah's selection. I always want us to go back to the time when we had to go in for a local coach, and there was so much talk about getting a local guy. Is he proving himself? Is he silencing his critics?
Well, for me, well, considering my interest in football, that's about, I think I'll go for 40% and all that. But I actually like the Black Stars. Well, I think that, I'm not too sure, but these Black Stars yesterday, they did very well. So I think he's not bad.
Not too bad.
Not too bad. I'll put it not too bad, yeah. Okay. So that's my, I think, view.
Kofi?
Well, for me, the coach didn't have... He's done well over the few matches he's played with the Stars, but he didn't have any excuse to fail yesterday. Like, he had the team, he had everybody on board. For me, it was nothing extraordinary. It's every other coach probably would have performed same or better, because he had Michael Essien, Asamoah Gyan, Prince Boateng, Kwadwo Asamoah.
Prince Boateng didn't play.
He didn't play, but I mean in the team, he had them in the team, so he didn't have any excuse to flop. And trust me, if we had lost or even drawn that match, I'm sure his letters would be ready by now. He would be way gone by now.
Yes. Are you happy with him so far?
I think. We had a rough start. We all remember when we lost in Zambia, I think in our very first game.
Yes.
And he's been able to pull through. So for me, I think he's been able to learn some of his lessons. It's nice to see Kevin Prince Boateng, DDIU back in the team. So that also shows his leadership in being able to actually get them back to come and play. So I think we should encourage him. We need our own local stars. So as much as possible, let's go with him as far as he can. And
Yeah.
But I don't think he's been really tested. His first test came in the first game, and he's been able to get us to qualify in this round. I don't think he's really been tested for me. I think we've been able to comfortably win our games. Maybe not 4-0, 3-0, but because I was as the game was ending yesterday, I was watching the game with some people at work, and people were antsy. They're like, Zambia only has to score one more goal and then 2 more goals, and then we are going to lose, just the same way we always do all the time. And I was like, what if I was a Zambian? Would I have trust that we were actually going to score? And, if we are in a situation like that, I'd like to see, how his mettle is tested. And I don't think we've been in that situation yet. So,
okay.
Yeah.
And did you at any point think that Ghana could beat Zambia? Because in the last 2 games, they've actually, given us a run for our money.
Yeah. Well, initially I was a bit tense because then I knew the Zambians were not coming all the way from their countries here to joke or something. So I was very tense. But when the first goal came, I think I was a bit relaxed. I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere. And it came quite early. So I think I was a bit optimistic about it, yes.
And boy, oh boy, that stadium was packed. You've got to love the fans.
We're not going
It
to
happens
lose
when
Kumasi.
it's in Kumasi.
We're not going to lose in Kumasi.
The support base there is tremendous. Everybody want to be there.
Yeah.
I mean, even if it's not the Black Stars and it's an international match in Kumasi, I mean, the patronage is always there. Just like, I'm not a soccer fan. I'm not into sports and all that. But
why?
They just don't do what I want. And Black Stars can be heartbreaking. Like, I mean, they can make you not want to eat for like a week. So usually, I always
also bring Ghana's biggest joy.
I always want to watch Black Stars match when we are a goal ahead. Then I can be a bit comfortable.
But you are such a coward.
The truth is, like, for instance, yesterday, though we had a goal, and you just can't sit and enjoy the match, screaming here, and everything was off,
but
like the second half.
You have a certain kind of faith with your boys, Casa. Why can't you have the same kind of faith with Black Stars?
Madam, Black Stars, if you follow Black Stars, you die young, trust me. It's true. Yesterday, I was like, the game went well for us in the first half. Second half, they were all like it was like they were relaxed. They thought, or maybe the Zambians were playing better football than us in the second half, because Asamoah was just there. I could actually count the number of times he had the ball, and it was just heartbreaking. But I was glad when Kojo Asamoah, he scored the second goal. When he made us proud on that second goal.
You don't follow.
Yeah, and
you don't need your kind of fun.
Yeah, I know, right? But when they pulled 1 goal back, how do you feel when the Zambians did?
I was very sad. I really didn't want them to score. I just wanted us to
clean sheet.
Yeah, we wanted to score them and then just let them go. That's all I wanted. I didn't want them to even score us. So I was really, really sad. I actually didn't hear that was a goal, and then the next thing I heard, and then I was even asking that, is it a goal? And then they said, yeah, they scored. I was like, no, I didn't really want them to score. So yeah, I wanted us to have a clean sheet there.
Right, but before the game, the Zambians had put up some antics. I mean, some things that I just couldn't make, nous of. For instance, you're supposed to turn up at 4 o'clock and train. You miss that time, come in at 6, and then the stadium is closed, the floodlights are off, they park their bus, and they decide to train at the car park, and then put pictures on on social media, and it went viral. Even the next day, the BBC was talking about it. I just couldn't understand why Zambia would do that.
Maybe they were, bad tactics to get, maybe to
get attention.
Yeah, to get attention, make us feel bad. I don't know, maybe different things they wanted to do to affect our psyche or something.
It didn't work, I think. And I thought it was a bit unprofessional. Because you look at what they displayed, and a lot has been said about African football not developing. And these are some of the things, because you don't expect England, Spain, Portugal, Germany to have a game, and then Portugal decides that we're not going to show up at 4 p.m. but show up at 6 p.m. And this can only be happening in Africa. How do we drive our football forward? Kukwa, I'll bring that to you.
Well, for me, I think that it's something about Africans. We are quite a bit late when it comes to doing certain things. We're asked to come to a place by 9, and Ghana man time, as they say, and then we come around 10 or so, and then we are used to it, kind of. We are kind of used to it. So, well, for me, I think that they should realize that it's all part of professionalism. You should be very quick to work. You should be, when you're consistent, you're supposed to be, when you are called, you should do exactly what you're supposed to do. But to know how they can move that forward, I'm not quite sure. I don't know how it's that, because our mindset is psyched that, you know, when it's time for a game or something, we come late and all that. So I think our minds are already psyched.
Yeah, well, it's a change somewhere. Lateness is such a disease. If you don't get rid of it, you just can't move on to anything.